I'll give you the ending first, because that's the part people ask about when they hear the title. Yes, my ex ran my wedding. Not as a guest MC snatching the mic. Not as some melodramatic scene from a show everyone pretends they don't watch. She was the on-site events administrator at a country restaurant north of town. The same place she and I once circled in a brochure like we were kids picking out a bicycle. We broke up. Time happened. I met someone who actually walked with me instead of walking me into a corner. We chose that venue because the oaks out back looked like a postcard and my fiancé fell in love with the string lights. I didn't know my ex worked there until I heard her say my name. Evan. I turned. There she was behind the host stand, hair pinned back with that neat, practical clip she used to lose in the sofa cushions. Lauren. A cream blouse, a black notebook, and a face that looked like she'd just found the emergency exit on an elevator and decided not to use it. You work here? I said. Yeah. I manage events. You're booking the Willow Room. Apparently, I said. This is Emma. Emma smiled, the way she does when she's being kind, but also measuring the situation. She reached out. We're excited. We heard you do the best weddings. We try, Lauren said. To me, it's been a while. Couple of years, I said. We're here about June 21st. Late afternoon, outdoor ceremony if the weather cooperates. Right. I've got time blocked. She flipped open the notebook. Let's walk through the basics. And that was the moment. Not the first domino, but the one that made me realize there was going to be a line of them. I didn't know yet how weird it would get. I didn't know that I'd end up sorting linens with the person who used to critique how I folded a bath towel. But I could already hear the theme music. If you think that sounds dramatic, just wait. It got stranger, and then it got honest. A quick rewind. So this makes sense without a neon sign. Lauren and I were together for 3 years. We were the couple that looked good in photos and fought in the parking lot after brunch. The talk always circled the same points. Where I worked, how much I worked, why I wasn't moving faster, why we weren't pinning down every detail of 5 years from Tuesday. I was a project manager at a mid-sized HVAC company. If that sounds glamorous, it isn't. It's scheduling installations, ordering parts, and calling homeowners who say their thermostat is haunted. It's also steady, and it paid for the used Ford F-150 I drove and the modest one-bedroom I rented. Lauren liked the idea of me more than the reality. She planned our lives in pretty spirals. The ring timeline, the condo timeline, the trip timeline. She had a phrase, pressure makes diamonds, which she'd drop after telling me I should take a certification program I couldn't afford while also saving for a bigger place, and somehow getting a dog we didn't have time for. I told her I loved her through it. I did. But loving someone doesn't mean playing human Jenga with yourself. The split wasn't a bonfire. It was a steady hum that took over the house. We were at a Mariners game with friends, and she spent the next day timing my bathroom breaks to prove I wasn't present. I remember saying, Lauren, I just had a hot dog and 2 sodas. She said, do you hear yourself? And I thought, yeah, unfortunately. A month later, we sat on my cheap blue couch and said we wanted different things, and also the same thing too much. She wanted to audition me for a life I hadn't applied to. I wanted to breathe. She packed her blender and a set of copper mugs she never used. She left the clip behind. It turned up later in the couch, covered in dust like a fossil. I tossed it without ceremony. I'm not sentimental about hair accessories. Time moved on the way time does. A new supervisor at work came in who actually listened. He tossed 2 extra accounts my way and said, if you keep the installs smooth through summer, I'll send you to training. On our dime. I did. The fall after that, I took the training. Somewhere in there, a coworker named Tasha invited me to a trivia night and introduced me to her friend Emma, who missed the first question but answered the next 10. Emma has a laugh that sounds like it might be expensive. She works in occupational therapy and can carry a conversation about baseball with a proper way to move a couch so you don't throw out your back. She let me be ordinary, and somehow I ended up better. By the time we got engaged, in our kitchen by the sink with a ring I could afford and a promise I meant, the venue hunt began. If you're not from here, our area has exactly 2 types of country venues. There's the faux barn with overpriced barbecue, and there's the actual countryside place with a view that makes even your grumpy uncle go quiet. The restaurant we ended up at, Stonebridge Farm and Table, sits on a little hill outside town. It's a working restaurant with clinking glassware and real bread that tastes like ingredients instead of science project. Behind it, there's a lawn framed by oaks, a creek, and a wooden footbridge that steals just enough attention to feel cinematic. Emma found it online. "Look at this one," she said, sliding her laptop to me at 10 p.m. while we ate leftover pasta. "They do seasonal menus. No heat lamps. And the ceremony spot. Tell me we don't want photos there. The photos look like someone had filtered them with nostalgia, but make it tolerable." And yeah, I remembered the brochure Lauren and I had circled, but life had moved on. I promised myself if the venue made me feel weird, I'd say so. We booked a tour. You know the rest about the administrator. We followed Lauren through the main dining room, past a couple celebrating an anniversary and a waiter with the posture of a retired ballet dancer. The Willow Room sat at the back with French doors that opened to the lawn. "It seats up to 90, Lauren said. "You're at 72 on your initial form." 73 now, Emma said. "My cousin from Vermont confirmed last night. He's the one who brings maple candy and insists we all try it at the same time so he can watch our faces." "Good to know," Lauren said, scribbling. "We'll keep a seat for the candy." She led us outside to the ceremony space. The late afternoon light landed in stripes across the grass. If a photographer could bottle that, they'd never have to hustle a wedding party again. "So, we do chairs in 2 blocks, center aisle," Lauren said. "Arbor here. We have 2 wooden ones. You can dress them with greenery or drape. We also have an indoor rain plan." "Let's manifest the sun," Emma said. "Manifest away," Lauren said with a half smile. It wasn't awkward yet. It was surgical. We poked at logistics, she answered. Sometimes she glanced at me too briefly, like a person testing an old injury. Once, while we discussed the welcome table, she said, "You always insisted on clear labels," and then caught herself. "Saw the work habit. I mean, we recommend clear labels." "It's a good recommendation," Emma said. "I live for a label maker." We did a tasting. The chef sent out small plates that made me wonder why I ever trusted chain restaurants. We signed a contract Emma wanted to read twice. Lauren slid the folder across the table, and our fingers landed in the same corner for a second. She pulled back. Professional smile, professional voice. And then, of course, the line. "You're in good hands," she said. "Seems like it," I answered. On our way out, Emma squeezed my hand. "You okay?" she said under her breath by the hostess stand. "Yeah," I said. "Just, a twist. If you want to pick another place." "No," I said. "This is our place. I'm not giving it away to old ghosts." "You sure?" "I'm sure. I'm in it." Still, if you ever want to measure your progress, try hearing your past say your last name under fluorescent lights while you're choosing napkin colors. That's a yardstick. The next few months were wedding planning the way everyone promises it will be and the way no one admits it actually is. There were joyful parts, picking a first dance song in our living room while the neighbor's beagle howled along like he'd been hired. And there were Tuesday nights where we argued about whether we really needed hand-painted signage pointing to the restroom. We did not. I kept living regular life in the middle of it because bills still exist even when you're making a seating chart. My week had a rhythm. Monday, check install schedules. Tuesday, meeting with the parts supplier who calls me boss in a tone that sounds like a dare. Wednesday, site visits. Thursday, warranty calls. Friday, deal with whatever caught fire earlier. Sundays, we watched the Yankees or whoever was playing the late game. Emma nursing a cup of tea, me pretending I understood the announcer's advanced stats. I'd go to the grocery store with a list. I'd forget the eggs and go back for them. I was not a different person because I was getting married. I was just a person with more Post-its. We met with Lauren a few more times. Sometimes Emma went without me because I had a leak in a church gym or a client who changed a furnace size 3 times. Sometimes I went alone when Emma had double shifts and a kid learning to walk with a new brace. Every meeting had the hum of 2 people who used to know each other and now acting like they don't. It's kind of like seeing an old coworker in a new office. You salute. You don't linger. Still, once or twice, the past slipped a note under the door. "Do you still drink your coffee with way too much creamer?" she asked during a menu call. "I drink it how adults drink dessert," I said. She didn't smile, but her pen paused. "We have better coffee here than we used to," she said, then shut the door on that hallway again. Do you want a late-night snack station? It's good for dance floor stamina. Yes, I said. Pretzels. Maybe mini grilled cheeses. I can do that, she said. One time, I showed up for a walkthrough on my lunch hour. Lauren had her team laying out chairs. She waved me over to the Willow room where she had 2 table mock-ups. Option A is simple. Option B is simple, but thinks it's complicated, she said. I appreciate the translations, I said. You always did, she said, then cleared her throat. I try to keep it plain. We chose option A. I headed out. On the way through the dining room, she caught up, carrying a vase. Hey, Evan. Yeah. Look about the other year. I know this is all layers, she said. For what it's worth, I'm glad you're happy. I can tell you are. That's the goal, I said. And you always want to calm. I made everything into a project. You like to plan, I said, because nobody gets a trophy for rehashing arguments. We weren't a good team. I kept telling you to climb faster and forgot to ask if you liked the mountain, she said. I'm not fishing. She looked down at the vase up again. I'm trying to get better at saying things out loud when it's useful. Anyway, we will make this day smooth. That's the part one know how to do. Thanks, I said. If you're waiting for a gotcha, that wasn't it. I didn't want a trophy speech. I didn't need one. I just needed the day to work and my wife-to-be to feel like we chose each other on purpose. But a seed was planted. Maybe Lauren didn't just move venues. Maybe she learned a different job somewhere inside herself. I was still bracing, though. People say they've changed, and sometimes they mean they bought a plant. Rehearsal day landed on a Friday, so we could have Saturday to breathe. The air smelled like cut grass and cold water. My best man, Marcus, showed up in a shirt that said free advice with a fake price tag on it. He's the guy who loves me enough to roast me while fixing my sink. He teaches high school history and can make the French Revolution sound like your roommate forgot to do the dishes. So, he said, tapping his phone as the wedding party assembled. The famous Lauren. You're not helping, I said. I'm observing. That's what historians do. I'm asking you as a friend to not narrate my life like a documentary, I said. He grinned. Fine. But if she starts rearranging your place cards into a shape spelling remember me, I'm stepping in. Emma's maid of honor, Tasha, kissed my cheek. We're good, right? She said. I asked for extra water pitchers because I know your aunt think hydration is a personality. We're good, I said. Lauren moved us outside like a traffic cop who's seen every jam. Okay, team, she said to our group. We'll do the full walk once, then we'll do a quick reset indoors for the rain plan, even though tomorrow looks clear. Emma, you'll start here. Evan, you'll wait by the arbor until your cue. Best man, I'll give you the rings. Don't throw them like a little league coach. Ring bearer, cute bow tie. By the way, walk at normal human pace. No need to sprint like you stole second. I try not to smile. She was good at this. If that stung, it was my problem. At the break, Emma and I snuck into the Willow room to breathe air that was 10 degrees cooler. We leaned against the bar. You doing okay? She said. I'm fine. I'm hyper-aware of where my hands are, which is a weird side effect of your ex running your wedding. You want to leave? She asked. Not as a dare, just checking. No, I said. I want to marry you tomorrow and eat real bread and listen to my uncle try to say charcuterie. She's competent, Emma said. It's confusing, but it's not a soap opera. If she was trying to make it about herself, I'd be the first to throw a flag. I know, I said. Thank you. I need you to promise me one thing, she said, a small smile, voice low. What's that? If a single centerpiece is off-center, don't climb on the table to fix it like a hero. No promises. Evan, fine. I promise to only rescue centerpieces if they call for help. We grinned like teenagers. Lauren stepped in with a clipboard, saw us, and paused. Sorry, she said. Didn't mean to interrupt. You're good, Emma said. We were practicing staying married for 2 minutes. Good practice, Lauren said. Also, just a small heads up. Your cousin with the maple candy? He called the restaurant line. He wants to know if we allow syrup theatrics. I don't want to know, I said. That's wise, she said. As we left the room, my mom intercepted me near the hallway with the serious expression she uses for misplaced keys and news articles about vitamins. You're holding up? She asked, adjusting my collar even though I wasn't wearing one. I'm okay. She looks polished, Mom said. She's at work, I said. You were always the one who did more of the fixing with her, Mom added cautiously. She looks like someone else's puzzle now. That's good. For everyone. Thanks, Mom, I said. And for the love of everything, eat breakfast tomorrow, she said. No one wants a groom melting under an arbor. Yes, ma'am. You'd think the morning of your wedding would be a cinematic montage. In reality, it's a lot of small errands and the desperate need for coffee. I woke up early because my brain doesn't believe in sleeping when it's important. Marcus swung by in his truck to get me. You ready? He said. Define ready, I said. Has the tie been tied? No. Are the rings in your pocket? Why would? He grinned. Kidding. I have them. You're too easy. We grabbed breakfast sandwiches, and I forced myself to eat because my mother's warning travels faster than any hangry spiral. We went to the venue to drop off a box of escort cards Emma had hand-lettered. Lauren was already their directing staff. She nodded when she saw us. Morning, she said. We'll store those behind the bar. Evan, quick question. Did you still want the music to cut for the vows, or keep it at 10% volume under them? Cut, I said. I don't need a soundtrack to my stuttering. You won't stutter, she said with a faint smile. You have too much faith, I said. Marcus nudged me. He used to practice answering the phone when he had a crush. He told her like it was some fun fact in a brochure. I'm leaving, I said. Lauren shook her head, amused. You were polite, Evan. That's how you practiced. You'd say, Hi, this is Evan, like you were applying for a job you already had. I hate both of you, I said, no heat behind it. The day rolled. There were suits to wrangle and a boutonniere that did not want to meet a lapel. Tasha arrived with an emergency kit containing roughly the same inventory as a small pharmacy. My dad asked me if I was nervous in that way dads do, where they're sneaking in their own feelings disguised as yours. Are you? I said. I was a million years ago, he said. Then she walked in, and it was just okay. That's the plan, I said. We love Emma, he added. We love how you are with her. Thanks, Dad. In the hallway by the kitchen, I ran into Lauren reading off a list to a server. Make sure the non-alcoholic sparkling is clearly labeled and placed next to the champagne, she said. We have one guest sober by preference and two expecting. We're not turning this into a guessing game. Copy, the server said. She turned. Evan, one more thing, she said, walking me toward the Willow room where the DJ was setting up. Your aunt wants to swap her seat because she says she can't sit near the speaker. That tracks, I said. She thinks loud music is a personal attack. I can move her 2 tables back. It won't break the sight lines. Also, this is not a big deal, but your grandma asked me if the former young lady would make a toast. I blinked. What? I said we don't do that here, Lauren said. Not a policy. A vibe. Thank you, I said. And please never say former young lady again. Agreed, she said. Then, lower. This is your day. I'm part of the staff. That's it. She meant it. She wasn't elbowing in. That felt like when you finally believe the chair will hold you. I still had a knot in my chest I couldn't name. Not fear, not regret, just the weirdness of having your old life pass you a glass of water in your new one. The ceremony began on time because Lauren probably sold her soul to punctuality, and I respect that. The sun showed up like it RSVP'd. I stood by the arbor and felt the wind try on the leaf for a second. Marcus leaned over. You okay? He whispered. I'm good, I said. On a scale of 1 to I think I left the oven on. I'm at do I salute when she gets here? Do not salute, he said. The procession lined up. Music. People walking like normal people who've been told not to walk like normal people. And then Emma. The cliché is that everything else fades. The truth is, everything else is still there, but it goes quiet. I saw the footbridge, the waiter refilling water, a kid rubbing his nose on a sleeve, and I also saw the person I asked to do a long project with me called life. She squeezed my hands and mouthed, Hi. Imotabak. The officiant started. He was a friend who got ordained online and who reads paperwork like it's poetry. We did vows we wrote ourselves. Clear, short, not trying to win any awards. I promised to be steady and to tell the truth, even when it's unflattering. Emma promised to make space for my slow mornings, to ask questions instead of answering them for me. We put rings on. Someone sniffled. Could have been me. Could have been the wind. It doesn't matter. Nobody took attendance. The kiss felt less like a finale and more like punching a time card for a new shift. We walked down the aisle, people cheering like they knew how much we needed this exact version of quiet. On the way to the Willow Room, for a few minutes alone, we passed Lauren near the doors. "Congratulations," she said, genuinely. "You two are. You look like you know how to be on the same side." "Thank you," Emma said. "And thank you for making it all so smooth." "That's the job," Lauren said, then stepped back, letting us have the small hallway to ourselves. The reception did what receptions do. Speeches. Marcus told a story about me assembling a bookshelf backwards in college. Tasha told a story about Emma convincing a grumpy old man to try and exercise by comparing it to fishing. We ate good food. My uncle mispronounced charcuterie and then insisted he did it on purpose. We danced. At some point, my aunt cornered me near the coffee urn. "She's the right one," she said. "I agree." "And that woman running around with the clipboard? Also competent. She's the one who—" "Aunt Carol," I said in my best diplomatic voice. "Let's not write footnotes in the middle of the main text." "You always did like metaphors," she said, and wandered off to sample the mini grilled cheeses. After dinner, I stepped outside for a breath while Emma changed shoes. The oaks were doing that thing trees do, telling each other secrets. Lauren was there, checking the edge of the dance floor where a cord tried to act like a snake. "You good?" she asked without looking up. "I'm good," I said. "Music okay?" "Perfect. Bread okay?" "It's bread and it's real." She nodded. "That was a kind ceremony," she said. "No fluff. No vows about conquering the world. Just keeping a calendar," I said. "That's harder than people think," she said, then finally looked at me. "Can I say something that's not my job?" "Sure. I thought this place would be mine one day. Not the venue, obviously the day. I do a lot of these. I can spot the couples trying to win an audience and the couples trying to build a house. You two are the second kind. I didn't know how to be that with you. I was busy auditioning for something else." "Lauren," I said, because empathy is free and truth doesn't cost that much either. "You were building a house alone and asking me to sign a lease. It wasn't going to work. That's not all on you. I said yes to stuff I couldn't actually do because I didn't want to disappoint you." "You disappointed me anyway," she said, but it wasn't a stab. It was math. "Yeah," I said. "And you disappointed me by not seeing me as I was. It's okay. We did the best we knew, and it's over." "I know," she said. "Watching you today, I felt it hit me. I made a classic mistake. I was sure the person next to me was an obstacle course I had to redesign. I'm fixing that. We're trying. Not with you. That ship's in another ocean." "Good," I said. "I'm not a course, and I'm not a ship. I'm just a guy who wants to be on time and not be told his coffee order is a moral failing." She smiled, small and real. "It is a moral failing, but that's not my business anymore," she said. And she took a breath. "I'm glad you found someone who likes your exact model, even if it has a check engine light for breakfast. When the light's on, I add creamer," I said. "Monster," she said lightly, and for the first time that day, the past felt like something that could sit in the back row without making noise. We rejoined the party. The DJ announced the first dance. Emma came back in sneakers, grinning like a co-conspirator. We danced to a not-too-slow song because we're not in a public swaying while everyone counts how long it's going to take. Halfway through, Marcus yelled, "Don't drop her," which is exactly the thing you yell make someone drop someone, but I didn't because I like my marriage. Later, during the open dancing, I saw Lauren by the bar, tapping her pen on a list, checking off the timeline like it owed her money. A server knocked over a water glass. She slid in with a towel like a magician and the mess disappeared. She looked up once and caught my eye. We nodded. That was enough. The night ended the way good nights do. People hugged. Someone cried, normal cry, not movie cry. The staff stacked chairs into polite towers. Emma and I did the thing where you go outside, look up, and say nothing because saying something would be weird. We thanked the chef. We thanked the servers. We found Lauren by the doorway with a final folder. "Here's your copy of the invoice, timeline, the song list, and your gift cards from the couple who didn't know what to buy," she said. "Your cousin left the maple candy. I hid it in a safe place." "Thank you for everything," Emma said, and meant it. So did I. We shook Lauren's hand, because we are adults and because it felt right. Her handshake was businesslike and warm enough to suggest she understood what this day meant beyond work. As Emma walked ahead to the car, my Ford in the lot shining under a dumb streetlight, Lauren paused. "One more thing," she said. "Remember when we used to circle this place in brochures?" "Yeah," I said. "We did a lot of circling. I thought if we got here, we'd be finished." "I didn't understand that it only matters who you're walking in with," she said. "I had to get a job like this to understand that every single week." "Life's funny like that," I said. "No," she said with a small grin. "Life's annoyingly obvious like that. It puts up a big sign, and people like me still want to walk into the window." "You'll stop walking into windows," I said. "You're good at figuring out logistics." "Eventually," she said. "Take care, Evan." "You too, Lauren." She stepped back inside. I walked to the truck. Emma leaned against the passenger door, shoes in her hand, hair a little undone, eyes bright. "What was that?" she asked. "Closure," I said. "The good kind. The kind that doesn't need a bow." "You okay?" "I'm better than okay," I said. "I'm me, and I like who I'm next to." "Same," she said. "Now let's go home. We have a marriage to start and approximately 17 thank you notes to write. We'll divide and conquer. I'll write the ones to my side if you promise to write the ones to your Aunt Carol in code she understands." "I'll use metaphors," I said. She loves metaphors. We drove home on county roads that are more honest than the highway. We stopped for gas and coffee because it's what you do. The attendant asked, "Big night?" "Big enough," I said. "Congrats," he said, and didn't upsell me anything, which is how you know the universe was on my side for a minute. When we got home, the apartment looked like itself, which felt right. We kicked off shoes, put the folder on the table, and split a leftover slice of cake because pretending you're not hungry is a younger person's game. Emma nudged me with her foot. "You want to talk about the ex thing a little?" "I want to talk about you," I said. "But the short version? She did the job. She did it well. She said some true things. She also reminded me why this is better. I spent years trying to meet a moving goalpost. With you, the field's marked and the refs aren't blind." "Romantic," she teased. "I'm a poet of logistics," I said. "I plan the least sexy spreadsheets." "I like your spreadsheets. That's exactly why I married you. Also because I'm cute." "There's that," I said. She leaned into me, head on my shoulder in a way that doesn't demand anything but contact. "I'm not putting you on a treadmill," she said. "If either of us laces up, it's because we want to." "That might be the most American thing you've said," I said. "Individual choice and exercise equipment." "Shut up and finish your cake." We sat a while in the honest noise of the fridge and the street. Then the phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Proud of you. Also, I stole 3 mini grilled cheeses. Do not tell Lauren." I typed back, "You're a menace." "And it's fine." Emma laughed when I read it out loud. "He's ridiculous." "He's family," I said, and that word landed like a table leg finding a floor. "If you're still here, if you want the lesson in a sentence you could take to a bar, it's this. I picked a partner who speaks the same language. The world didn't hand me a villain. It handed me an early, wrong chapter and later the right one. Lauren learned something too, and though I'm not writing her a certificate, I can recognize it from distance. She looked at me across a room full of strangers and realized the thing she let go was the wrong plan, not the right person. That's her story to tell. Mine is simpler. On Monday, I went back to work. The office smelled like ink and coffee. My supervisor asked how it went. "Perfect," I said, and meant it in the way adults mean perfect. Not flawless, not without dust, but true to size. At lunch, I walked to the grocery store to buy eggs because we had people over the day after and somehow went through a dozen like we're a diner. The cashier with the forearm tattoo scanned them. "Any big plans?" he asked, just doing the script. "Just the usual," I said. "Keep the schedule. Fix what breaks. Make dinner with my wife." "Nice," he said, and handed me the receipt. On the way out of the store, Lauren texted. I didn't know she had my number still, and I don't know if she looked it up from the file or if it was muscle memory. The message was short. "Thanks for trusting us with your day. You both made it easy. Don't worry, I deleted your number from the system. No paper trail. Take care." I typed and deleted a few things. Finally, "Thanks for the good work. Take care." I put my phone away. I crossed the lot. I put the eggs in the passenger seat and buckle them out of habit because I'm deeply myself. On the radio, an announcer said the Yankees had blown a lead and then gotten it back. That sounded about right. I drove home in no hurry. I thought about the footbridge, about Emma's sneakers, about the way a chair felt when I sat down next to the right person. I thought about how the past doesn't need me to hate it for me to outgrow it. At home, Emma was on the couch with a stack of thank you cards and a pen balanced behind her ear. Egg secured, she said. Egg secured, I said. Did you buckle them in again? I refused to answer on the grounds that it will make me sound like a cartoon. She laughed, and the kitchen felt like the opposite of performing. We made frittata with leftover vegetables. We ate it on regular plates, because fancy isn't the point. After dinner, we took a slow walk around the block like retirees practicing. We talked about the venue, not the ex, not the awkwardness, just the oaks and the late light and the way the bread tasted like bread. Before bed, I looked at our calendar tacked to the fridge, squares filled with appointments and notes about oil changes and birthdays. When I was with Lauren, that calendar was a scoreboard I kept losing. With Emma, it's just a map for two people moving in the same direction. And that's how my ex ended up hosting my wedding. Not as a plot twist, but as a confirming detail. She built a day she once wanted with me, and the day taught us both what we needed to know. She learned that letting go of the right person isn't a plot. You just don't realize it until you see him laughing with someone who fits. I learned that I'm allowed to pick the steady thing, the thing that looks ordinary from a distance and turns out to be exactly the opposite when you look close. If you're waiting for a last jab, you won't get it. I'm not a scoreboard guy anymore. I drove away from that restaurant with a wife who shares my keys, and I left Lauren under the string lights doing the job she's good at. The only score that mattered was how many chairs we lifted together to clean up the confetti, which is to say, all of them.